We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast with interesting people. And I met Diamond on the pickleball court, and we were just finished playing. It was a hot day, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear he and his wife talking to somebody else, and me, I'm a pretty shy guy, so I'm just kind of listening into everything. And then after they're done, I go over and talk to them. I'm like, "Whoa, this is a fascinating story." And so, Diamond, why don't you just share kind of your background, kind of the story, your story, your wife's story of the company, just to give the listeners some context here.
Sure, absolutely. Actually, my wife got us into pickleball. She went on a girls' trip, came home, and talked about how fun this would be. And after about 2 weeks of me resisting, I finally said, "Yeah, we should probably go play." Instantly, like a lot of people, just thought it was fantastic, fell in love with it. What a great game, especially as something you can do with your wife or your spouse, significant other. It was fantastic. It didn't take long after that before she developed tennis elbow. And I was working in um, RV manufacturing at the time. And so I'm going in and I'm talking about our new hobby and how much fun we're having with it. And I said, except for my wife came down with tennis elbow. Well, one of the engineers I worked with said, "Have you ever tried Kevlar?" And of course, I'm like, "Why would I try Kevlar? I don't understand." He goes, "Oh, no, no. Kevlar absorbs a lot of vibration, a lot of shock absorption to it. You might find that a lot of times that happens with tennis elbow is the vibrations. And if you try a Kevlar paddle, that might actually take away the tennis elbow." So at that point, we were willing to try anything. And up here, Elkhart, Indiana is the RV capital of the world. We make about 9% of the RVs made. So different materials are readily available to us. So I got a hold of a supplier who sold Kevlar, and I bought a sheet of Kevlar and made a paddle for my wife. And lo and behold, the tennis elbow went away in about 2 weeks. Well, then we had another friend who had some tennis elbow or some shoulder issues, made another paddle, made another paddle. Needless to say, it kind of snowballed from there. And I still have a full-time job where I'm on the road 3 out of every 4 weeks a month. So it got to the point that I couldn't keep up with it out of the garage. And we started having them made for us. And it's just kind of snowballed from there.
What a great story! Like
Yeah,
that's
lucky.
that's the same story of Hewlett Packard. I think Stephen Jobs too, Apple, like both of those, they started out of the garage. Like that's probably the mistake I made. I didn't start my businesses out of the garage when I should. It's so cool story to go ahead and do that. So
Yeah, we've been fortunate. We had a lady with hand problems that bought one, and it's the only paddle she can use. We've had quite a few shoulder injuries. Now, is it going to work for everybody? No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it's going to heal anything, but it does allow for a lot of people to be able to still enjoy being able to play when they couldn't play before.
yeah, it's interesting because like the first time I played, first time I ever played, I had it was at church, so they put pickleballs at the back, you know, and they had something, and I said, well, I'll play, and I had like slip-ons,
Hmm,
you know, don't play pickleball with slip-ons, like
no.
don't do it. But it was fun. I mean, I had so much fun, and people are like, "How long have you been playing?" And I'm like, "Well, this is actually the first time I've ever played." And they're like, "Are you kidding?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You are awesome." I'm like, "Well, I don't know. This is a lot of fun." I mean, and I was saying something to my wife. She and I play together. Like you said, it's great. It's great for the kids. It's great, like everybody. It's really easy to pick up. But I've been playing now for 2 years, and it's interesting because like it's weird. So I didn't know it did shoulder stuff. I've been kind of sore in my shoulder a little bit, and so I'm like, maybe it'll go ahead, and I wasn't sure what to do. I thought maybe I just ought to stop hitting it so hard, and it's like, no, just get a Kevlar paddle. Maybe that'll do it.
It
Um,
possibly would.
you don't know until you try. So so I've been blessed to be an international speaker and author. So I own 9 companies. I've got systems in place that they run mostly without me, so I have an extra 20, 30 hours of free time a week. I'm writing my 18th or 17th book titled Clean Windows: Learning to See Things We Can't See. I do my wife and I, we've been married for 40 years. We have 7 kids, 10 grandkids. And so I do a lot of volunteer work. So one of the nonprofit organizations that I do a lot of volunteer work for is Life Masteries Institute. And they've got this coolest app. It's a mobile web app, and it'll identify somebody's personality in 17 seconds.
Hmm, interesting.
And so one of my companies is executive coaching. So I've coached, executives, top level, worldwide leader executives all around the world in all different industries. And the personality, and so I've coached professional golfers and, like high school or college football coaches and professional athletes and stuff like that over the years. And I do it based on, with them, I do it based on the personalities. And so, in the personalities, what it will do, and so the Life Masters Institute, the nonprofit organization, said, "Hey, could you put together? Do you think you could put together something for pickleball?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, absolutely, I can put something together for pickleball." So the big picture is each of these four. So which of these four shapes would you tend to like the most? A cube, a pyramid, a wavy line, or ball. A cube, a pyramid, a wavy line, or ball. So you have first, second, third, and fourth. And then which of these four things would cause you the most frustration in any area of your life? Out of order, out of control, boring or not fun, or conflict with others. Then you do one, two, three, and four. Sometimes they match, sometimes they don't. Either way, it's okay. And then just the short synopsis is, so if you chose the cube or things being out of order, um, then you'd be an analytic personality. And so one of your greatest strengths might be like to dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure things are done properly in order. One of your weaknesses might be like to dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure things are done properly in order. So between the two tests, there's 65,536 possible combinations.
Okay.
And so, Tom Kuntz, he's one of my co-authors on one of my books that he and I wrote 22 years ago. It's titled Community Business Partnership. So he helped raise over $100 million for Easter seals. And so when he went through, there's a 12-week course that Life Masteries has online. And when he went through, he said, "Mark, I've been through every personality assessment, under the sun, and I've never seen anything that's so fast and so thorough and accurate." And I'm like, "Well, that's fascinating." And so if in sports, it does not just pickleball, but anything, this type analytic personality will tend to go ahead and play conservatively. And so they'll tend to play conservatively, and that's good. That will take them to a certain level of skill level, but then they're going to level out at that. So what creates our strength is also our weakness. And
Hmm.
so what we do is we have to learn to get to the next level in pickleball or anything we're playing. What we need to do is we need to learn to overcome our strength so it doesn't become a weakness. So the lowest frequency is not good or bad. It just is what it is the amiable personality. So we tend to like people who are like us, and we tend to fall in love with people who are opposite of us. So I believe that, I've heard that they're bringing pickleball into the prisons now. I don't know if you've
Yep.
heard that.
Yep. I sure have.
And so, so it builds camaraderie. It helps to reduce on violence, and I can see that. I mean, it brings people together and connects, and it's really cool. So the amiable personality, if you chose the ball or you chose conflict with others, this type of personality, that's my wife. So she's this. And so they're nice. They're the nice pickleball. There's a saying in pickleball, sorry, not sorry. It's kind of
Hmm.
interesting. Um, and so I'm the driver personality. I'd just be like, I'm not sorry. Like, it's not sorry. It's like, I'm not sorry.
It just happens.
It just happens. Like, this is pickleball. So the amiable, they will tend to be the nice players. They're the ones that, they're doing it a lot for fun. They can be the most competitive too. So don't mistake them, their demeanor. But these two personalities over on this side, they tend to go ahead and they tend to be less assertive. These tend to be, more assertive. So the driver and the expressive personality. And so you can tell fairly quickly, like immediately, that I would be, so there's, I guess, slammers or something like that. I would be that. Like, I spike it a lot, hit it a lot, really aggressive in
Hmm.
my play. Um, One of the things that I love about pickleball is it seems like you can play it. I know people that are in their 80s and 90s that are playing it.
Sure
And
can.
there's some of the ones that are, in their 70s, they may not move as fast as a 20-year-old, but they can beat a 20-year-old.
All about angles and placement.
Angles and placement and everything. So the expressive, so the amiable, if you learn to play more aggressively, you'll take your game to another level. The analytic, if you worry less about making mistakes, you'll take your game to a higher level. If the expressive, I played with a number of expressives, they're really interesting because when they get frustrated, they really mess up a lot. So they're too quick. So if you slow down your game, you can actually get far better. It's the opposite type of coaching that you would have for the amiable expressive.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
then the driver personality, if you look to become more amiable or you look to become more analytic, you'll actually, what it does is when you do the opposite of what you think you're supposed to do, you'll actually improve. So
Hmm.
with Diamond, what I did is we were talking, and I'm like it'd be fascinating to go ahead and see like what the best pickleball players are, personality wise. Like who are the best ones and what's their personality? And then
Okay.
it'd be really interesting to do a podcast with them, and
Hmm.
and then have them share like their secrets on why they're so good. And
Yep, I
so
agree.
and so then what the mobile app would do is it could connect the pickleball players, like the personality. So would you go ahead and want to go to the one that you're like my wife, would she want to go ahead and kind of watch the video from the amiable? Maybe. Or she might want to watch the one from the driver. Like, so you get different perspectives, different energy bases that are there. And
Hmm.
then
Absolutely.
with Diamond, I'd ask him, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing in your business? He and shared it. And I thought, we got to do a podcast together. Like, we ought to do a podcast. And he's like, sure, let's do it. I'm like, okay. So here we are.
Yep.
And um, and then, with some of the influencers out there, the influencers, some would say I'm an influencer. I don't really think I'm an influencer. Like, I don't know that I have the personality to be one, but anyways, um, but the influencers they're always looking for an edge. They're looking for something because at the higher you get, just like in sports or anything, the higher you get, the more skilled you get, the more people you're influencing, um, the less people there are at that level.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what industry you're in or what you're doing. And so when you get to the higher levels, you want to go ahead and differentiate yourself. You want to go ahead and be different. You want to say, hey, how do I? And so the personalities is like it's very unique. It's very innovative. So I could see why, a number of influencers would want to go ahead and participate in this venture. And I believe that pickleball, like a lot of sports, um, you can get divorced if you play golf together, I hear.
Yeah, you can in pickleball too, that is for sure.
See, I was just going to say just the opposite in pickleball. Like, where, like, it does, like, there's so many lessons in life about relationships and pickleball. Like, it helps understand how do you deal with anger, or how do you deal with frustration, or how do you deal with relationships or differences, or all those kind of things. Like, it's interesting. There's like people who play pickleball with me, they're like, Mark, you don't say anything. And I'm like, what am I supposed to say? And they're like, I don't know, good shot. I'm like, okay, I'll say good shot then. But some of the pickleball players, it's so interesting. Some of them like talk. after every shot they make.
Hmm. Some do. Some, yeah, continue on about it.
Yeah, and
I'm
they
with you. I don't really say much. It's when it's over, it's over. It's on to the next point.
right.
But yeah,
So,
some do. Some keep on talking about everything.
if somebody was interested in you guys as um, you guys as paddles and stuff like that, what would be the best way to connect with you, Diamond?
The website really. That's why we have it for, and it has a email address. Also has a phone number. Email's probably better because I do fly quite a bit. So many times, like last year, I had 200,000 air miles.
Wow.
Many times I'm in the air. So an email I can get back to you at some time is more convenient for me at least.
And what's the best email for you?
Info at diamond1, the number 1.com.
Nice. All right, there it is, right there on the screen. Okay.
Yep.
Do you have any other questions or oh, on your paddles, can you go ahead and do you have a system set up where they could somebody like a company could sponsor and they could put their logo or their company name or something on it? Do you have any program in place where they could where corporations could go ahead and get pickleball paddles for their or somebody who's playing could put a sponsor on the paddle?
I don't currently, but that's not a problem. The people I work with, I can put anything on the paddles that I want. The only thing it changes is if they're going to be tournament use, I can't change anything on the paddle face. It still be USAPA approved.
So even the
Anytime,
picture,
even the picture, if I change any of that, it has to be all resubmitted. It'll cost me, it would be a similarity, which a new paddle cost me about $10,000 to get approved. A similarity paddle is probably about $5,000 to get approved. I can change the edge guards and I can change the grip. I can't change anything else. Once the face is done, the face is done. I shouldn't say that. The face is done without paying another fee.
right? Right. Cool.
So yeah, I can do it. Yeah, it's not a problem. We've just made some actual kids paddles
Okay.
for one of the local clubs, and the clubs wanted their logo on it, so we put the local club on it for them. I believe we have another club that's going to order demo paddles, and they want their club name on it. They didn't care about it being used for tournaments, but they want people to be able to demo the paddles, and they wanted their name on it. So we're going to do those special graphics for them.
Gotcha. Well, I can see this as, there's so many different options and it's so much fun. And so thanks so much, Diamond, for being on today.
Yep,
If you
absolutely.
if you have any other questions, you can connect with the individual who invited you to participate. There'll be something on the podcast probably right below where you can join a pickleball group um, on the Life GPS mobile app. And so that will look at your personality and then it'll give you tips on how to improve based on your personality. You can meet other people, in the community and those type of things. It's a brand new kind of what Life Mastery
Okay.
is doing. And so there's some neat things that people can do to participate. So if you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300. And always remember, or other number is 630-393-9909. And always remember we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Thanks, Diamond.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you.